Bing pong. Stop!
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and ooh-wee! It's been a while since we saw a backlash like this, and it looks like Ben & Jerry's ice cream is signing up to be the very next Bud Light after they took the opportunity on the 4th of July to essentially woke virtue signal. Now, this isn't new for Ben & Jerry's. This is a long-standing tradition of them to, dump on the country that made their entire company exist in the way, shape, and form that it is now. But that's neither here nor there. Now there are massive calls for a boycott after the woke ice cream maker July 4th message demanding the United States return stolen indigenous land, starting with Mount Rushmore to the Lakota. Well, let me tell you something. This may be an inconvenient truth, but the land was conquered. It was not stolen. Now, you could extend that argument if you want in a different video, or perhaps while we're live discussing all of this insanity. If you're seeing this video, I go live on Rumble today at noon Central to 2 o'clock. Make sure you check out that. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment down below, and also our site-wide coffee brand coffee sale. Promo code Happy 4th to save 15% off. But I hope you'll join me on the live stream. We're having putting up some huge numbers. Ben & Jerry's customers call for boycott. Ice cream company Ben & Jerry's sparked outrage with a July 4th tweet calling for the United States to return, quote, stolen indigenous land, starting with Mount Rushmore. The company, which was founded by longtime Bernie Sanders allies Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenwood, but have since been sold to the British multinational Unilever, tweeted the message to its 494,000 followers. Quote, "This 4th of July, it's time we recognize that the U.S. exists on stolen indigenous land and commit to returning it. No." The company's official account wrote before suggesting that Mount Rushmore be handed back to its original owners. The tweet sparked immediate outrage on social media, many disgusted customers using the hashtag boycott Ben & Jerry's hashtag to slam the message as anti-American sentiment on a day meant to celebrate the United States of America. One commenter compared the statement to Bud Light partnering with Dylan Mulvaney, which resulted in the beer giant losing more than $20 billion in market share. Quote, "Long overdue for Bud Light treatment. You hate the country. Fine, we won't buy your product. All good." And look, I 100% agree with this sentiment. I mean, first of all, there's probably a zillion better options in terms of ice cream. Second of all, nobody really needs ice cream, and I say that as a fat. But this is like the perfect storm where Ben & Jerry's is completely replaceable. There's a million other, even if you just said, hey, I still need to have ice cream. First of all, if you live in a town that's like semi-big, there's probably a local ice cream place that you can buy pints from. Second of all, there's certainly other brands you could buy from at the grocery store. Joseph Massey called them hypocrites for all the cows that had to suffer to make the company's ice cream. Yeah, if you look at the vegan perspective, by the way, which I rarely like to do, they call taking milk the R word. You know, that's why they don't drink milk. They're taking it from mothers, mother cows. It's meant to feed their young, not make ice cream. "First, you need to apologize for the millions of cows you milked without consent," he wrote. "Your product is colonialist misogyny in the form of an overpriced dessert. Stop feeding the people cow trauma." So they managed, this is like why it's a perfect new Bud Light situation, because even the vegans and the wokies are pointing it out, right? Kevin Dalton continued on the hypocrisy, noting that technically Ben & Jerry's owned factories were on stolen land. Quote, "I look forward to the virtue signaling Ben & Jerry's returning their factories' land to the Abenaki and Mohican Native Americans that lived in Vermont for 10,000 years. Eli Klein chimed in, a commitment to give America away sounds like a bit much. This is absolutely stupid and pandering nonsense, added Libby Emmons. Well, the fact of the matter is, look, Ben & Jerry's has been a supporter of far left causes and has partnered with various woke causes. I believe they had ice cream that was for the poke. I'm pretty sure they had some sort of BLM blend. It's probably on fire or something like that, or when you buy it, the money disappears. I don't know. The tweet then linked to a post on the company's website explaining why America should start with Mount Rushmore and how they hope to support a movement that would dismantle white supremacy and systems of oppression. These are all just words. You ever notice how a lot of these people, they just put words, and you ever feel like,
it's been 84 years.
I'm just so sick of it. I don't understand how they kind of feel like it. It's just, I don't get it. The tweet then linked to the post. The 4th of July, who doesn't like a good parade, some tasty barbecue, and a stirring fireworks display? The only problem with all that is that it can distract from the essential truth of the nation's birth. The U.S. was founded on stolen indigenous land. Sorry. I don't know if, sorry. This may cause you some
emotion.
I don't know, but I can tell you that I'm big sorry, but it was conquered. That may be an inconvenient truth. All land at some point, for the most part, has been conquered or reconquered. People were not put on this planet with deeds. That's a tough fact, but sorry. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's just the way it is. Ben & Jerry's also cites treaties that allowed tribes to keep Mount Rushmore dating back to the 1920s and Supreme Court decision that ruled the land had in fact been stolen from the Lakota tribe after they staged a sit-in in 1970. The court ruled that the Lakota Sioux were due $105 million, but the tribes refused payment, demanding their land be returned. The ice cream giant then announced support for the Land Back movement, which says it's about restoring the rights and freedoms of indigenous people. None of these people have been alive. None of the people alive now have had anything stolen from them. It's kind of the whole reparations argument. No African American, no black person alive now was a slave. Nobody's parent was a slave, and nobody's parent's parent was a slave. So why would I, who didn't own slave, my parents didn't own slaves, my parents' parents didn't even live in this country, why on earth would I be paying reparations? It's the same ridiculous logic. It's about dismantling white supremacy and systems of oppression, ensuring that indigenous people can again govern their land. Well, you know what's interesting about all this? If you look at, Ben & Jerry's and some of their, issues, they've been woke for a very long time, except oopsie doopsies. Ben & Jerry's suppliers use migrant child labor despite company's progressive values. What? How could this be? How could a company so progressive and so amazing and so woke, how could they have let this happen? The New York Times expose released earlier this week interviewed more than 100 migrant children in more than 20 states who described jobs that were grinding them into exhaustion and fears that they had become trapped in circumstances they could never have imagined. The report detailed children as young as 13 working 12-hour days, often overnight shifts, before going to school the next day in order to survive. That's to make your ice cream. The report said migrant children are employed by the supply chain for major companies like Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, Ford, General Motors, and Ben & Jerry's, among others. Ben & Jerry's, a self-described progressive company, told Fox News Digital that is opposed to child labor and has worked to ensure fair compensation and the safety of farm workers. Interesting. Interesting. Ben & Jerry's head of values-led sourcing said that if migrant children needed to work full-time, it was preferable for them to have jobs at a well-monitored workplace, according to the New York Times. But national child labor laws prevent people from under 16 working more than 3 hours or after 7 p.m. on school nights. Ben & Jerry's has also been known for taking a stance on controversial political initiatives, often naming ice cream flavors in support of or in opposition to controversial flavors. In 2018, the company released new flavor Pecan Resist, which was designed to send a message about resisting the Trump administration. Okay. We honor and stand with women, immigrants, people of color, and millions of activists. What? Remember, Ben & Jerry's also had Change the World, honors former NFL quarterback and 100 millionaire whose children makes his tennis shoes, Colin Kaepernick. Activism in pursuit of racial justice. I can't think of a situation that is better for anybody in this world than Colin Kaepernick. This guy was a mid quarterback. He's worth $100 million. And that's it. I mean, like, he's worth $100 million. I'm sorry, where was the oppression? I mean, this is, and if you look at the actual tweet, just getting absolutely demolished, right? So they put this out, 8,000 likes, 33,000 comments, and just getting absolutely destroyed. Styx Hexenhammer writes, the indigenous, quote unquote, people spent thousands of years dispossessing one another of their semi-nomadic areas they generally occupied, regularly ending one another and enslaving each other. Your tweet is an example of a long discredited, romanticist, noble, savage myth. Critical Drinker writes, go back to selling overpriced ice cream. Everyone here ratioing them, you know, most of the peaceful moves here have another, and it's it's redacted juice, you know. Jamie Mitchell, why are you so insufferable? If it's conquered land, not stolen, been happening since the dawn of man. High Res the rapper, become a nonprofit, give all your proceeds to Native American families, put your money where your mouth is, only hire volunteers, step down from your CEO positions for a person of color, give up your house and your private land that you own first. Isn't that funny? Like, you know, give all of your property and land back to the Native Americans right now, or shut up. 15,000 likes. I love you're literally ice cream. Just everybody. I mean, this is going to be a new Bud Light scenario, and it's absolutely perfect. You know, because this is exactly the kind of slacktivism we're used to. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll join me over on Rumble. The link is in the pinned comment down below. If you just go to my Rumble page, follow me there, you'll get a notification when I go live, which is at noon Central. You've been great. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you again real soon.